Hello and welcome back. I'm Harish, and in this channel I talk about building anything without code. And this is a really quick and short example of how you can set your app's background to a specific image that you can get from any API. And for this example, I'm going to use Astronomy Picture of the Day API from NASA, which gives you one image every day. And the API link is this one, and the response is in this format usually. And I will give you the link to this specific API in the description below, and we are going to build this entirely on Thunkable. Thunkable lets you build native apps for any platform. So let's quickly get into building this in under 3 minutes. Let's see. I'm going to call it APOD NASA demo. Put it under education. You can always find these apps that I'm building under education tab if you want to remix them and use them as your own. Once you have the canvas, the first step is go directly to the block section because we don't have to do anything here. But in case you want to show loading icon when the image is loading, I would highly recommend you add the loading icon to this. So I'm going to go to blocks and click on screen 1 and say when screen 1 opens, we need to call the web API. Now the API URL is this. The other thing that you have to do is when you go to the API page, sign up for a API key. Without API key, your access is restricted. And for this example, I'm going to use the demo example URL they have, which is this. I'm going to click this and it is showing the response. There's a copyright tab, so make sure you give the credit when you are building this in a real world application. And we have the HD URL, which is the image URL essentially that we have to use. So I'm going to copy the URL, go back to Thunkable, click on Advanced Web APIs, click on plus and then add the URL here and click submit, and then click on this and call the web API directly. And now we have to set the background of the screen, right? So I'm going to click on screen 1, set the screen background picture 2. We need the HD URL from the response, and if you remember, this API is under the response of the API is inside curly braces, which means this is a JSON object, and from inside this JSON object we need HD URL. So for that, the steps that you have to do is go to objects and do get property of object, and inside the property name just add HD URL first, right? And now the API response is setting in this response block, right? To be able to use that, go back again to objects and say get object from JSON and then add response to this. Now this is all you need to be able to set the background image from an API that you get, right? So let's click on preview and see if this works. Once you click on preview, I'm sure the image loads. That's the astronomy picture of the day. Now depending on the type of image and where the subject is, it will change. And you can also change the orientation of the background image by going back to design, and under screen 1 you can say background picture size mode to any of these. Let's say we'll do center and see how it changes the layout, right? You can always change these to make sure the images are appearing correctly in your app, right? This is how it appears, completely black, right? Now if I go back to editing and say background resize to contain, let's see what happens. If I do a web preview, it says contain. This is the actual image, right? And depending on what you have the background resize mode set to, it keeps changing. If you learned something new from this, drop a like and consider subscribing because this channel is all about building stuff without coding. See you in the next one. Peace.